When the St. Gabriel Possenti Society makes a commendation in honor of our patron, it is well for us to consider some of the particulars surrounding the life of St. Gabriel Possenti. St. Gabriel Possenti was a seminarian in Italy in the mid-19th century. Before he became a seminarian, he had been trained and became quite proficient in the use of rifles, shotguns, and handguns. After he entered the seminary, there came a time in 1860 when the seminary, which was adjacent to the town of Isola del Gran Sasso in Italy, was attacked by a gang of renegade soldiers from Garibaldi's army. Gabriel Possenti asked his rector for permission to go into the town of Isola so that he could help the citizens if he could. The rector, after some reflection and trepidation, gave Gabriel Possenti permission to enter the town. As Gabriel was entering the town, he saw a couple of these renegade soldiers about to rape a young woman. St. Gabriel Possenti approached one of these soldiers, wrested his handgun from the soldier's holster, and told him to cease and desist from his act of rape. St. Gabriel also grabbed the handgun which was being used by another soldier at that time in that vicinity. The rape, or the attempted rape, stopped, of course. The other soldiers, the other renegade soldiers, hearing this commotion, approached St. Gabriel Possenti, thinking they could make short shrift of this young and rather slight seminarian. At that very moment, a lizard ran across the road. St. Gabriel Possenti, with one of the two pistols which he had wrested from the renegades, shot and dispatched the lizard with one shot. He then turned the two revolvers at the approaching renegades and ordered them to stop. They were so impressed and frightened by the marksmanship, by the handgun marksmanship of Gabriel Possenti, that the young seminarian was able to take total command of the situation. He ordered the soldiers to disarm, which they did. He ordered the soldiers to put out the fires which they had started in the town, which they did. He ordered the soldiers to return the property from the people which they had stolen, which the soldiers did. Gabriel then marched the renegades out of Isola at gunpoint. After this, the townspeople of Isola, who were so gratified by the skill and the courage and determination of Gabriel Possenti, escorted him back to his monastery in triumphant procession. Thereafter he was known as the Savior of Isola. Gabriel Possenti died a couple of years after that of natural causes, that is, in 1862. He was known for his great holiness, for his devotion to Christ and his Blessed Mother. He was the subject of a movement for canonization shortly after his death. In fact, he was canonized in 1920 by Pope Benedict XV. at a ceremony attended by a number of various church officials and even some of the people who had known St. Gabriel Possenti while he was still alive. Because of the great heroism of St. Gabriel Possenti, because of his holiness, and because of his demonstrated capability with the use of firearms, especially in this case with the use of handguns, the St. Gabriel Possenti Society is requesting that the Vatican name St. Gabriel Possenti officially the patron of handgunners. Handgunners throughout the United States and even throughout the world use handguns many, many times each year, millions of times each year, in preventing violence and in preventing crimes from occurring or interrupting crimes when they do occur. And since there are patrons for various kinds of legitimate activity in the Catholic Church, we think it would be quite fitting for the Vatican to designate St. Gabriel Possenti officially the patron of handgunners. The St. Gabriel Possenti Society also emphasizes the historical and the philosophical and the theological bases for the doctrine of legitimate self-defense. In fact, I myself have written a book on St. Gabriel Possenti and his life and his exploits, and the encouragement and the discouragement we have received from various officials in and out of the church on our campaign to see him named the patron of handgunners.